He's only drafted because he's LeBron James' son. He doesn't belong in the NBA. He's not talented enough to be in the league, and he doesn't belong in the league in general.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
With the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James from the University of Southern California.
Now, I want to preference my comments. I am not a LeBron James apologist. I am not a Bron-sexual. I am not going to consistently come to the aid of LeBron James and try to save the day every time somebody says something negative about him. But this one instance, I think it's gotten to a point where it didn't need to get to. All right, when you think about Bronny James, where he was drafted, the situation that occurred in college, and where he is now, he is facing the most unreal amount of pressure that any player in NBA history has ever faced, especially a second-round draft pick. Now, look, you can say that's LeBron's fault. He came out a couple years ago. He said, I want to play with Bronny James on the NBA level, whether it be on the same court or on the same team. I hope that can happen someday. And he stuck around long enough to see that come to fruition. Good for him. But when we look at things from a different perspective, when we look at the fact that, you know what, Bronny James is a second-round draft pick, 55th overall, and right now, without looking it up, you can't even tell me who the top 5 draft picks were from the prior season. You can't even name the top 10. You probably couldn't even name the top 3, let alone the number 1 draft pick. You probably just know where he got drafted to. That speaks to the volume and the veracity of which we discuss Bronny James on a day-to-day basis circles back to Bronny. In one way or another, it will circle back to him. Now, you look at his college stats, all right? 4.8 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists. Now, I'm going to be honest, that does not scream a high-level draft pick. But what people forget is Bronny was never considered to be a first-round draft pick. This has been a conversation for the past couple years leading up to the draft. Bronny James was going to be more than likely a second-round draft pick. Now, why that upsets people, I don't know. Doesn't bother me much because guess what? A lot of instances, second-round draft picks probably don't make the team. They're going to end up going to an organization like the San Antonio Spurs or the Miami Heat, teams that can develop players, even the Golden State Warriors, to bring them up to another level that you can possibly see them contribute in the future. Now, people are going to say, he's only drafted because he's LeBron James' son. He doesn't belong in the NBA. He's not talented enough to be in the league, and he doesn't belong in the league in general. Now, that might look like that's the truth when you look at the film from the preseason. He's 1 for 11 from the field, 0 for 3 from the three-point line. There's situations where he's losing players that he's guarding, not knowing the offense, turnovers, not knowing when to cut or how to cut. Obviously missing shots because the Lakers need shot makers. They need people to space the floor for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You have one of the greatest shooters of a generation in JJ Redick at the helm, and you also draft a knockdown shooter from Tennessee in Connect. Now, we know all of those things coupled together is going to incite an unreal amount of hatred for Bronny James and LeBron James. Now, let's play devil's advocate. We know Bronny James is 6'4", 210 pounds. He has a cannon strapped to his arm. He can play defense. He can move his feet. He's cat quick. He can get off the ground. And you know what? It's in his genetics to do some of the things that we're going to see him do in the future. Now, when I look at LeBron's part in this, all right, and I say, you know what? As a father, what would I do? In a situation where I quite possibly could be burying my son, he had cardiac arrest. That's as close to dead as you can get. So I could possibly be burying my son, but instead I'm not. I go to USC. I end up meeting the person that performed CPR on my son and saved his life. We get to the hospital. My son looks at me, and one of the first discussions he wants to have is, do I have a future playing basketball? Am I able to get back on the court and do the thing that I love? Next question is, how do we make that happen? And then, all right, what are your goals at the end of this route? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish on this road into the future of playing basketball, considering what just happened on the basketball court that got us here? and he says, I want to be in the NBA. As a father, as being LeBron James, first of all, the most powerful player in the entire NBA, I don't care what anybody says. LeBron James is the most powerful player in the league today, and it's an argument that can be made that he could be the most powerful player we've ever seen in the entire league in its history. And then you also couple that up with the fact that these events took place, and he says he wants to be in the league. I'm doing everything I can in my power to make sure he gets in the NBA. I don't care what strings I have to pull. Bronny James is going to be in the NBA if I have all of the say so. And guess what? He made it happen. As a father who has sons, and there's situations where, you know what? Nepotism, you can scream that out. You can say he's only here because of his dad. He doesn't belong here. There's a ton of coaching staffs that are filled with coaches being their father. So now they have a job as an assistant. There's coaches that are head coaches on the NBA level, and their sons are in charge of the G League team. There's situations where ownership has their sons as vice presidents, as president of basketball operations, as general managers, at all sorts of nepotism throughout the entire NBA. All right. And guess what? It's perfectly legal and it's perfectly okay. Nobody is mad for getting their sons a job. Nobody's mad at putting their kids in a position to be successful, because as a parent, as a father, that is our job. Now, the biggest responsibility lands on Bronny's shoulder. Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to do everything you can to be successful? Are you going to be a knockdown shooter? Are you going to be a stopping defender? You compared yourself to guys like Drew Holiday and Davion Mitchell, two of the best defenders at their position. And Drew Holiday is a two-time NBA champion, and he was a big part of both of those championship runs, and he contributes to winning everywhere he's been. Philadelphia, New Orleans, Milwaukee, now Boston. He is a winner. Can you contribute on that level? That remains to be seen. But from what I've seen in the past, what I've seen in practices, what I've seen in shootouts, what I've seen at the draft combine, Bronny James is willing to do that. Now, people are going to hate you. People are going to love you. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is every single day you wake up, you do your job, you put in the work, and you make sure this opportunity does not go to waste. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments. Is Bronny James being drafted to the LA Lakers an issue of nepotism in comparison to people getting jobs in front office positions because of their daddies? That's one more for the good guys.